Now, this Pastor Masaya tragedy remains unsolved. We're going to talk about it right now. Everything that happened, the timeline of events, and all the details. There are many questions than answers. Questions like, why did he have to be abducted in full public view? And when he was captured, how many abductors were there? And then the big question, when Pastor Masaya was found, who discovered the body? Obviously, it is not the family, because on the third day, the family will be called to identify the body at Paranyatwa Hospital on 13 November, year 2023. According to a police statement, the body would have been found at the intersection of Acturas Road and Lobo Road, Cleveland area, Harare, on 12 November 2023. That is a day before 13 November, where the family is called to Paranyatwa to identify the body. Now, the family should have known of the police discovering the body a day earlier. When the police discovered the body, if it is the police that discovered the body, obviously the body would be handed to the police upon discovery. So who discovered the body? Who discovered the body? It is 3 days from the day Pastor Masaya had been missing, right? At this time, the body is unidentifiable in a decomposed state. On identifying the body, right, the family says that his face, pardon me on that one, they say that his face was unidentifiable, right? So they had to identify him by his clothes. They had to identify him by his clothes. Now, when the body was found on 12 November, he was wearing a campaign shirt with the name and the face of the MP they were campaigning for. So obviously, the authorities should have made contact. This was a by-election, an isolated election that was happening. So tracking and backtracking would have been easier, and the family would have discovered earlier on, right? So Pastor Masaya is not abducted alone, right? He's abducted with somebody else, Jeffrey Kalosi. 2 people are abducted. One comes back alive, and the other does not come back at all. Only a body would soon be discovered. Now, before the abduction, Pastor Masaya was relatively unknown. He was a pastor and also a CCC activist, right? It is not clear whether the family made reports on the first day that he is abducted, that he goes missing. And if they didn't make the police report, why didn't they make the police report on the first day that he goes missing? Pastor Tapfumaneyi Masaya was part of a political campaign team for an aspiring legislator for the opposition Triple C. Munyaradzi Fabian Kufa Hakutizgwi was the candidate. Now, the Mavuku Tafara by-election came following the recall of Munyaradzi Fabian Kufa Hakutizgwi by Sengezo Tsabango. Right? By Sengezo Tsabango. So, this is a by-election, and this guy now is campaigning, and Pastor Tapfumaneyi Masaya is part of the team that is campaigning for Munyaradzi Fabian Kufa Hakutizgwi. Remember, when the body of Pastor Masaya is found, he is wearing that shirt. Now, this Mavuku Tafara constituency is where none other than Scott Sakpanya comes from. And Scott Sakpanya would win uncontested in this constituency. Why? Is it related to this Masaya story? According to media reports, it was because of legal disputes within the Triple C, right? Triple C members of parliament are recalled. Then they are barred from recontesting, right? Then a Justice Nevakatio would later withdraw an order that he had issued earlier on, barring 8 recalled Triple C MPs from running in the by-elections. But as the new order was, Munyaradzi Kufa Hakutizgwi was not on the list, right? Which withdraws the barring of the recalled opposition legislators from running again. So, Scott Sakpanya wins uncontested in this constituency. Now back to the timeline of events leading to the abduction of Pastor Masaya. Masaya is part of a team conducting door-to-door campaigns for an upcoming parliamentary elections. The day is 11 November 2023, and these upcoming elections are scheduled for the following month, 9 December 2023. Now, while at it, a 3-vehicle convoy approaches, and Tapfumaneyi Masaya is bundled into one of the vehicles, which looks like a gray Toyota Fortuner. And this information is according to witnesses, right? Then another person is also abducted in the same abduction. He gets bundled into a different car. His name is Jeffrey Kalosi. So some media houses who published this story, they claim that this guy was blindfolded. But when he narrates his ordeal, he could recall where they would have traveled or the roads they would have used while he was abducted, right? Now, according to Jeffrey Kalosi, because he's the survivor who comes back, he says the vehicle in which Pastor Masaya was bundled into goes into a different direction, right? Then Jeffrey says he was tortured and dumped somewhere along Shamba Road, right? Then he comes back, meets the Masai family, and notifies them that he doesn't know where they went with Pastor Masaya. Then they look for him everywhere, including where Jeffrey Kalosi would have said he had been dumped, right? So why was Pastor Masaya abducted alongside Jeffrey Kalosi? Obviously, they were in the operation together, right? According to Jeffrey Kalosi, him and Pastor Masaya were not that close, right? He tries to insinuate that they were close, and in trying to insinuate that, he reveals that they were not close. We just knew each other. Right, meaning they were not close. Anyways, now, in an interview, some of the family members, they revealed some details. So I'm just going to show them here in bits and pieces so we can see what's out there and what's missing. So now he's speaking after he had been beaten and dumped, right? He's carried by a lady coming from Shamva to buy from buying tomatoes in Shamva, right? And the lady will drop her in Mavuku. Remember, Jeffrey Kalosi is released on the very day that he is abducted. That is 11 November. What happened? Now they're asking him, what happened to you? So as he says, then he explains what had happened, right? Then they ask him, what about Pastor Masaya? Then he says, I don't know where he went. Now the wife is narrating, Saturday, I didn't see my husband. Sunday, I didn't see my husband. All right. So, according to her, she doesn't go to the police on the first day. Let me just rewind it. So as she says, she reports on Monday, right? She says she reports on Monday. Saturday, he's not there. Sunday, he's not there. Then Monday, she goes to the police to make a report. Now, according now to a media report by the Zimbabwean on this issue, right, titled Zimbabwean found dead after abduction and enforced disappearance. This is published 14 November 2023, right? Here, it's written, on Monday, 13 November 2023, human rights lawyer, Honorable Innocent Gonese of Zimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights, who was engaged by the Masaya family to assist them in the search for the missing clergyman, visited Mavuku police station to check on the whereabouts of Pastor Masaya and to get an update on police investigations. And he was referred to Central Police Station. Therefore, Honorable Gonese began working on filing a court application at the High Court for an order of habeas corpus requiring whereabouts of Pastor Masaya to be disclosed. So maybe the CCC had engaged the lawyers for human rights. Maybe they'd notified them in other means, right? Now, according to this article, it says on Tuesday, 14 November 2023, Maria Joao, the wife of Pastor Masaya, together with other family members and friends, identified the body of her husband and clergyman at Parenyatwa Group of Hospitals. So it's around 5, right? She comes back from the police. Now, let's continue. So meaning these guys are still looking for Pastor Masaya on this day, right? They'd gone to inspect the areas where Jeffrey said, maybe this area, we might have passed through here. So while looking for Pastor Masaya, he's saying this councillor then calls this other MP, who then says, I am no longer an MP. Rather, I am now working for a funeral parlor. But I'm at Parenyatwa Hospital right now. There's been a body that's been discovered wearing yellow overalls. So remember, CCC yellow, right? When members get recalled, they were still wearing yellow, or were they still wearing yellow? Right? That's a regalia, a party regalia. So he was wearing party regalia. And it's very sad that later on, when his body is being identified by the clothes he's wearing, he's identified by party regalia. This is his clothes. So he's wearing an overall and a Mnyarazi MP campaign t-shirt. Now this is the child. I mean the son, sorry. So they identify the shoes and the stockings. Shoes and stockings. The wife didn't even get the chance to see a body mark that she knew, right? So the body is said to have been decomposed, in a decomposed state, unidentifiable, 3 days from the day of the abduction, right? Did he perish on the first day, on the second day, and the third day, right? There's been claims that he was injected by some other things, by some other media houses, right? But now this is the wife speaking. This is the wife that is speaking. And I want you to listen very carefully to the last statement on this video. All right. So that's Jeffrey Kalosi. Before we listen to the wife saying, I was shown the clothes, that's it, the cape he was wearing. So Jeffrey can actually remember that he was wearing a black cap, but the other things were not on the corpse or in the box that he was shown, like the ring, the phones, etc. Okay? Losing a life because of things that pass. Kurasikirwa neupenyu nekuda kwezvinhu zvinodarika. From this statement only, we can derive the relationship that he had with his wife. This is his wife we're talking about, right? Remember, a husband and a wife, generally, in most cases, they usually have the same characteristics and the same behaviors because they are the same people. She can't grasp it. She can't grasp it. What happened? This thing happening to my husband, how did it happen? That is what she's saying. Losing a life because of things that pass. Does this statement suggest anything, or am I suggesting anything? I may only suggest what it suggests. Dr. Clarence is the name. TV7 Live on Gambako Media. As always, thank you for watching, and I'm out.
Kurasiwa neupenyu nekuda kwezvinhu zvinodarika. Zvinhu zvakaoma.
Masaya ushamwari rwangwaro kumusangano wekuti taenda tese kumusangano taiwirirana nyaya yekuenda kumusangano nenyaya yechechi vakwazodarika mai vaibva kushamba kutenga madomasi saka vakanitakura vandisvikondisiya pamashopu vandadzika motokari vandazokwidza kuenda kwanaonarebo vanhu vakamira kurodhi ana kansela ana mp vacho vakamira kurodhi nemamadzimai vakamira mafamba sei vandavaexplainira mafambiro akaita vanzi komufundisi ngati handisitomuzva kuti vaendei
Ndakati ndakuona Masaya. Sunday Masaya hapo. Manje nikaenda polisi nikaniripoti. Andatsuko. Ndiniwo wamwongo utenda kunotsvaga uwo. Dzapa ma55. Batakazo wanouya kuvatsuka. Mwana sekujefera ngwaini zvakare.
Sango. Chitenderera chitarisa. Saka. If